Hi, it's Dr. Lori, and I'm back with more real bargains. That's right. Real bargains, of course, are the bargains that people are finding in estate sales, thrift stores, yard sales, all over. I have permission to retell these great stories about the things that people like you are finding at thrift stores and other places. So let's get started. My first real bargain comes from a video call. People do video calls with me to get their pieces appraised or to have me help them with things like, I don't know where to sell this, Dr. Lori, can you help me? Those kinds of things. So I do video call appraisals, and this came from a video call. My video caller said to me that she had an injury which prompted her to leave her job. So she left her job and she took up thrifting as a way to make money for herself, to support herself and her family. So she said, it was really hard to make the transition, but I did that and I was able to find things, and I've been watching the channel and I've been watching your videos, Dr. Lori, and I've learned a lot about jewelry. So when I saw these pieces in the thrift store, this was a thrift store purchase, she said, I decided that this piece, while it's unusual, I thought maybe it was something that I might be able to resell. So she went on the idea that sometimes things that are unusual or you haven't seen before are unique, one of a kind, might be something to sell. So this is an actual studio art jewelry piece. So it's made by an artist in a studio. When I saw the piece, I was very excited because I knew the artist that actually made it. This piece is attributed to the very famous American sculptor, Alexander Calder. He was not only known for those mobile sculptures, those mobile sculptures, and big public sculptures of constructed metal, but he was also known in his career from the 1930s all the way until of course, his death in 1976. He was also known for wire sculptures, and the wire sculptures are what inform his jewelry. The jewelry pieces are not as well known, of course, as those sculptures, but they are very desirable. She found this wire sculpture by Alexander Calder, which is from 1937, 1938. Alexander Calder even made the wedding ring that his wife wore. And he typically would do pieces that were based on these literal wires. So wires became his paintbrush, if you will. So wires became what he liked to use when he made his jewelry. This piece is a wonderful piece. As I said, dates to the late 1930s, characteristic of his style. It's a choker, it's rather large, and the wires actually are formed by Calder's hand himself, making it a piece of studio art jewelry. It's a beautiful piece, handmade. She paid $7 for it. What's it worth? It's a real bargain at $3,000. Yes, Alexander Calder Necklace, $3,000. It's a real bargain. Wow, was that an exciting one? My next real bargain also comes from a video call. Video calls are easy to schedule with me. You just pick a time and a date in my schedule. You do it right. You can book it right on my website. It's easy to do. This piece was from a thrift store purchase, and this thrift store piece was actually in a case. And my video caller liked it because she said, I liked the fact that you had, in fact, these little loops as well as the black pieces in between the wires. So this piece was, in fact, also handmade, a studio art piece of jewelry. And this piece not only has those silver wires, but it also has these jump rings, those little round circular rings. And it's a long necklace, so it's a big statement necklace. It has, of course, 5 large pieces of ceramic. So basically, they're ceramic fired clay in black, and they're glazed, and then they're set around these wire circles. The piece is a statement necklace with a long hanging pendant, sometimes called a lavalier because it actually comes down like a statement down into the pendant. So it kind of makes this crescendo of the big pendant at the bottom. It's a nice form. This form was, of course, black and silver, as I said, and the ceramic portion kind of reads like onyx, but it's not a stone. It was ceramic. This piece dates to the 1950s, and this piece also by the famous American sculptor Alexander Calder. Again, known for wrapping the wires around these pieces of ceramic. This piece was also a real bargain. And when my video caller said, I had to buy it, I thought it has to be something, and she thought it was very well made. So I asked her, I said, how much did you pay for it? She said, after all of my discounts and coupons, I paid $3.98 for it at the Goodwill. Said, you know what this piece is worth? It's worth $2,000. That's right, a $2,000 Alexander Calder necklace, handmade in a thrift store sitting in a case. The stuff is out there. You've got to look for it. I'm going to show you what to look for and show you how. So that was a real bargain and a beautiful piece as well. $2,000. Nice. My next real bargain comes from a Goodwill Bluebox. So the Goodwill Blueboxes are very popular, and of course they're somewhat a competition to get them. It's not that easy to get them. So purchasing them at $39.99 at the time of this taping, that was the price at the time of the taping. But in fact, this particular piece came out of a Goodwill Bluebox. So when you look at this piece, you think, wow, this is a really very intricate piece, and a piece that would be very difficult for someone to make. My video caller had the Presidium Gem Tester, which is going to help all of you, of course, along with the loop and my other recommended products. But she had the Presidium Gem Tester, and she tested this piece. When you buy one of my recommended products, I do get compensation. Having said that, she tested this with the Presidium Gem Tester, and you know what this piece is? It's a ring in the form of a bird's nest with a bird, and it is set with prong set emeralds. It is set in yellow gold. It's hand cast or handmade by a studio art jeweler. And the nest is 14 karat gold. It's marked. The emeralds are prong set. They were tested and they're the real thing. The bird itself is white gold. And the white gold bird is also enhanced with very small diamonds. So small scale diamonds set in the bird. And she tested those with the diamond tester too. So she said, Dr. Lori, I know this is something because I did all my tests. I was proud of her. She did all of her tests when we talked on the video call. The whole piece was handmade using, of course, the lost wax method. It was carved out, and then the stones were set in after the fact. It's a beautiful piece. It dates to the latter part of the 20th century, the 1970s, 1980s, and it's very, very specific and very highly detailed. It's a beautiful and exquisite piece. I said, how much did you pay for it? She said, well, I got it as part of the blue box. So if you break it down, you know, I probably paid $2 or $3 for it. $2 or $3 for a ring that's worth $1,000. That's a real bargain too. And a beautiful example with of course, the small little elements of the diamonds and of course, those emeralds, which are quite nice too. Pretty good in size too, those emeralds are. So that was a real bargain and a wonderful investment in that Goodwill Bluebox. My next real bargain comes from a video caller, and this video caller said, Dr. Lori, I like online estate sales. And I do a lot of shopping on online estate sales, and I buy the pieces and then I resell them on my own website. I said, well, that's great. I said, that's good. You're having success as a reseller. She said, well, I've been watching the videos. I would not have recognized this costume jewelry designer's name if I hadn't been watching your videos. So when I saw the name, I remembered what you said in the videos, and I thought, okay, I'm going to pick this up and see how I do. So she said, I wanted to know from you what it's worth before I list it. And that's a good idea. A lot of you are saying, you know, I'm doing the video calls because I'm going to find out from you before I actually list it. So this piece is a Ciner Panther bracelet. It's a cuff. So it basically opens up and you put your wrist in it, and then the two heads of the panther actually come together. You'll see that it is highlighted with rhinestones. It's enamel over gold tone metal. And it also is, of course, decorated with the complementary color pairs of red against green. The red and green attract the optic nerve or attract the eye to the piece. And of course, the gold tone metal and the Ciner design is really what collectors are looking for. So this piece was a wonderful piece and a really good investment. So she said, well, Dr. Lori, I paid $20 for it at the online estate sale, and I have a $250 offer for it already. I said, wow. She said, I'm afraid that I probably underpriced it. And I said, you did underprice it. It's worth $500. Others just like it had recently sold based on actual sales records higher than the offer that she got. She said, I knew I should talk to you and do a video call before, in fact, I let that go for the offer that someone made. People make offers all the time. That's fine, but you have to know what the value really is so you make sure that you get enough out of that piece, because once you sell it, it's gone. So $500 is the real bargain here for a $20 investment at the online estate sale. That's a real bargain and a beauty as well. My next real bargain comes from a thrift store purchase. So I was on a video call, and this video caller said, I like to go to the thrift stores. When I buy things together at the thrift store, I find that I can actually negotiate with the thrift store folks, and usually they'll give me a lower price or a price for the lot. It's always a good negotiating tip if you can do it. So ask, be polite, but ask. Maybe you'll get it for a little bit less. You probably recognize this form of this pendant. This pendant was purchased with 2 other pendants, so 3 pendants together. And this one is, of course, the Mickey Mouseketeer cap, right? The cap that was worn by the Mickey Mouse Club Mouseketeers. And I have my own Mickey Mouse Club hat, of course. Many people do when they go to Disney World or Disneyland. You buy the hat. It's a lot of fun. So this is a 14-karat gold marked piece. It's a pendant on a chain. She got the chain with the pendant. It's marked 14-karat gold, and it's also marked Copyright Disney. So it has the licensing of course, the Walt Disney Corporation. Great. I said, it's a really nice piece. She said, yes, I really like it. I had the Tinkerbell too, but I sold it. And then after I sold it, I thought, gee, because one of the things that she bought at the thrift store was the Mickey Mouse, another pendant that was actually a snowman, and Tinkerbell. And she said, that's how I got the value, that's how I got the price down, but I sold the Tinkerbell and I think I made a big mistake. I said, well, let's not worry about your mistake right now. Let's talk about this cap, this Mickey Mouseketeer cap. She said, yeah, so I got the ears, the cap that are the Mickey Mouse ears. She said, I really liked it. I purchased it for $50. She said, when it came down to it, after I had all the other items, when it came down to it, this one was purchased at $50. I said, well, that's pretty good. Now, it's worth $400, so you did very well, of course, on what you did in terms of the negotiation. And I said, but tell me the bad news. Is the bad news that the Tinkerbell went for less than $400? She said, oh yes, I sold the Tinkerbell and I shouldn't have done it. So before you sell it, make sure you check out, of course, what I have to say about the appraised value. That was a real bargain, $50 for $400 for a Disney, of course, Mickey Mouse ear cap. 14-karat gold pendant, it's a beauty. And with those pendants, you know, the small pendants are in now, so it'll be easier to resell because, of course, that fashion is in vogue right now. This next real bargain comes from a video called Two. This was also purchased at a thrift store. This is a great story because I love to hear when you guys are going thrifting with friends or going thrifting with your children or going thrifting with, you know, your grandkids, or maybe it's mom and daughter. That was the situation here. A mother and daughter thrifting team got in touch with me on a video call and said, Dr. Lori, we go thrifting often and we've been listening about jewelry and we really love jewelry. You all know I love jewelry. I know that I can help you identify the great stuff so you can, of course, get it for your own collection at a low price or resell it after you purchased it at a low price. This piece was a mother and daughter went to a thrift store and they said, well, we had a couple of coupons. We had a 30% off coupon because we shop there a lot. All right. And also the thrift store actually allowed them to have other coupons if you go on certain days. So the mom was a senior and she had a 10% coupon for senior day. And then in the store, certain pieces were blue tagged. And you guys know this when you're in the thrift store. Sometimes they do special tag days or special days where they, of course, take a percentage off. In this case, there were certain objects that were tagged with a blue tag. Well, the blue tag actually meant it was 50% off. Now, my thrift store pair of shoppers, the mother and daughter, had a 50% off blue tag on the item that they wanted. Then they also had, in fact, a 30% off because, in fact, it was a 30% off because they'd shopped there so much that they got 30% off from their other shopping sprees. And then it was 10% that you got off because it was senior day. If you add up all of those percentages add up to 90% off, right? So this is what they purchased at 90% off. They looked in the jewelry case and she said to me, Dr. Lori, that day with 90% off, I cleaned out that jewelry case. This is just one of the pieces that we got. So she got this, which is a sterling silver and smoky topaz necklace. It has beautiful, large, faceted cut stones. They're all prong set. It's a gorgeous statement necklace in sterling silver, which is marked sterling 925. And this piece was 90% off at the thrift store. So it was priced at $50. And in fact, she got 90% off, which brought it down to $5. And what's it worth? $500. That was a real bargain. That's only one of the pieces that she purchased that day with all of her coupons and the blue tag reduction as well. That was a real bargain. So she got a lot of good jewelry that day. This next real bargain comes from a video call, and the video call, in fact, she said, I got a lot of jewelry. It was a box lot of jewelry at an online auction. I paid $28 for all of it, and this is what was in it. When I opened up the box lot to look through the jewelry, I saw this box, and it said Halo on it, and it said it had this pair of earrings in it, which is from the glass firm of Kosta Boda. Many of you know that in collecting glass. These pieces are crystal, and they're from the Halo line in the original box, marked Kosta Boda, and set, of course, in sterling silver. They're hanging earrings, they're crystal, and they're cased. So the crystal has sort of the halo crystal around that central orb. Really a beautiful pair of earrings made by a premier glassmaking firm. She said, I really liked it. I knew exactly what it was. I knew exactly what to do. I knew I had to call you, Dr. Lori. And I knew Kosta Boda jewelry. She said she knew the glass, but she didn't know that the jewelry existed. I said, yeah, the jewelry is really quite nice too. A beautiful piece. So when she went through all that she got in the $28 box lot, she said, I probably paid $2 for this pair of crystal earrings by Kosta Boda. And I got to tell her the pair is worth, in the original box, $275. That was a real bargain too. Had some great pieces to see, always with real bargains. You're out there thrifting, you're out there shopping. I want you to succeed. I'll show you what to look for. I'm Dr. Lori. I'll see you next time. I hope you find your real bargain real soon.